A bomb has exploded in the center of Oman.
Some photos capture the joy, others capture history. But what about those taken just before the disaster? From daring stunts gone wrong to history-altering tragedies, we're diving into some of the creepiest, most haunting images with stories you won't believe. Stick around, you're not going to want to miss this. A routine flight turned catastrophic on February 4, 2015, when TransAsia Flight 235 experienced grave technical malfunctions just minutes after departing Taipei. The world watched in disbelief as images showed the plane tilting sharply before crashing into the Keelung River and a nearby bridge. What led to such a devastating accident? Investigations revealed a combination of equipment malfunctions and mistakes made by the crew, prompting sweeping reviews of aviation safety standards. The crew of NASA's Space Shuttle Challenger geared up for a mission with great historical meaning in the early hours of January 1986. Among the 7 astronauts was a civilian teacher chosen for the Teacher in Space project. After 73 seconds into the launch, the shuttle disintegrated due to a catastrophic failure in the solid rocket boosters, which had become brittle in the cold temperatures. The accident claimed all 7 lives and was witnessed by millions live on television, making it one of the most widely observed tragedies in space exploration. The investigation highlighted engineering flaws and poor decision-making under time pressures, reshaping future space missions and safety protocols. What would you do to preserve history even in your final moments? During the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens, photographer Robert Landsberg captured striking photos of the advancing ash cloud. Realizing he couldn't escape, to safeguard his film, Landsberg shielded it with his own body. His photos remain a powerful testament to the eruption's scale and his incredible courage in recording it for posterity. The Boston Marathon was struck by a devastating terror attack on April 15, 2013. Near the finish line, brothers Dzhokhar and Tamerlan Tsarnaev detonated 2 pressure cooker bombs filled with shrapnel, killing 3 people and injuring approximately 260. The chaos that followed led to a massive manhunt involving thousands of law enforcement officers. Tamerlan was killed during a violent confrontation, while Dzhokhar was captured days later in Watertown, Massachusetts. He was later sentenced to death. The attack left a lasting impact on marathon security worldwide, prompting significant measures to ensure public safety at major events. Back in May 2016, the Cincinnati Zoo became the center of global attention due to a heart-stopping incident. A 3-year-old child inadvertently dropped into the habitat of Harambe, a western lowland gorilla. Harambe, captured on video, appeared more curious than aggressive as he interacted with the child. But the zoo staff faced a critical decision: how to ensure the boy's safety. Despite public outcry to save the gorilla, Harambe was fatally shot, sparking debates about animal conservation and human safety. Could there have been another way to handle this delicate situation? Switching to a story from a much darker time, Leonard Siflete, an Australian Special Forces soldier, faced an unimaginable fate during World War II. He was captured during a reconnaissance mission in New Guinea, and moments before his execution by decapitation, a Japanese soldier took a haunting photograph. Can you imagine the courage it must take to face such a moment, knowing what's about to happen? These stories of life, loss, and survival leave us questioning the choices made in impossible situations. A calm and serene moment in Duncan's life transformed into a perplexing mystery. While he snorkeled in the crystal-clear waters, his 2-year-old son played on the sand nearby. The photograph of them together became even more poignant when Duncan disappeared beneath the waves shortly after. Despite an extensive search, Duncan's fate remained unknown until his remains were later found on the same beach, making the tragic ending all the more surreal. How does such a sudden loss underscore the unpredictability of life? One of history's most striking images is that of the LZ-129 Hindenburg descending in flames. In May 1937, the German airship was attempting to dock at Lakehurst Naval Air Station in New Jersey when tragedy struck. Within moments, flames engulfed the aircraft, leading to the loss of 36 lives out of the 97 people on board. While suggestions of an electrical spark or sabotage have been made, the use of highly flammable hydrogen instead of helium was a major contributing factor. Could this disaster have been avoided with different decisions? The night of November 13, 2015, remains one of the darkest moments in France's past. Inside the Bataclan Theatre, Gilles Leclerc and Marianne Labanon took a selfie as they awaited a performance by the Eagles of death metal. Minutes later, the venue became the site of a brutal terrorist attack. Gunmen stormed in, opening fire on the crowd and claiming 90 lives. Marianne survived, but Gilles was among those lost. In 1961, the US figure skating team prepared for a journey of ambition and dreams. 18 athletes, joined by their coaches and families, boarded a flight to Brussels for the World Figure Skating Championships. But tragedy struck when their plane crashed near the city, leaving no survivors. How does such an event impact the sports world and the families who carry their memories forward? Did you ever wonder what it must have been like in the final moments of Saddam Hussein's life? He was the man who ruled Iraq with an iron fist for decades, running an authoritarian regime that left a lasting mark on the country. After months of intense searching, the US-led coalition finally captured him in December 2003. His trial became a global spectacle as the world watched him answer for his actions. The key charge: crimes against humanity for the execution of 148 Shiites in the town of Dujail. It was a case that symbolized the brutality of his reign. What's the story behind a photo taken just moments before a tragedy? One such haunting image is from Uruguayan Flight 571, which crashed in the Andes on October 13, 1972. Of the 45 people on board, a rugby team along with their family and friends, 27 initially survived. But what followed was an unimaginable fight for survival in freezing temperatures, facing avalanches and barely any food. Can you imagine what decisions they must have made to stay alive in such an extreme situation? In a completely different tale of bravery, Indian actor Krishna Nair, known as Gian, met a tragic end while filming an action scene. Gian was famous for his daring nature, performing his own stunts at a time when few actors dared to do so. During one particularly risky maneuver, he tragically fell to his death. What drives someone to take such risks, knowing the potential cost? His fearless dedication cemented his legacy as a heroic legend in the world of cinema. What happens when a serene day at the beach turns catastrophic? In December 2004, tourists and locals at Hat Rai Lay Beach in southern Thailand were enjoying the sunshine when the ocean began behaving strangely. Without warning, a massive tsunami struck, killing thousands of people in an instant. Caused by one of the strongest earthquakes ever recorded, the disaster destroyed entire communities, leaving behind enormous loss and grief across multiple nations. Tragically, the towering waves struck with devastating force, leaving little time for escape and claiming over 230,000 lives. The scale of the tragedy remains unforgettable. Before the tsunami hit, the beach in Southeast Asia was bustling with tourists and locals, all enjoying what seemed like just another normal day. People were lounging, swimming, and soaking in the sun, unaware of the devastating danger approaching. Suddenly, huge waves crashed in without warning, offering barely any chance to escape. Isn't it chilling to think how quickly everything can change? One moment, life is going on as usual, and the next, nature unleashes its power. How did a tranquil hot air balloon ride end in disaster? In 2012, a hot air balloon carrying tourists in Carterton, New Zealand, collided with high-voltage power lines and burst into flames, killing all 12 aboard. The trip, meant to showcase breathtaking scenery, became one of the worst hot air balloon accidents in the country's history. The sudden and tragic event left a lasting impact on the community and beyond. And that brings us to the end of part 2 of haunting photos taken right before disaster. If you missed part 1, go check it out. It's packed with more unbelievable moments frozen just before tragedy. Part 3 drops tomorrow, and trust me, you don't want to miss this one. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell on so you'll be the first to see it when it's live. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay curious, stay aware, and I'll see you tomorrow.